field today. I thought we had a really good practice. The intensity all week has really been good following the scrimmage. The one thing we've been putting a lot of emphasis on is just effort and getting to the ball, and the guys have really done that, right? So they've been straining, and, the more hats we can get around the ball, the better tackling defense we're going to be, right? So that's the one thing we've been emphasizing as a staff, and the guys have done a good job with coming out to practice and doing what we've been emphasizing.
Yeah, I was wondering if any dynamics have changed a little bit. I know you're passing game defensive coordinator, but I guess when we're out there, it seems like you're more with nickels and safeties, and Nick is more with corners. Or do you guys continue to mix it up throughout practice?
That's the primary thing that we're doing, but we also kind of play off of each other. It will still be days where he take the safeties and nickels, and I take the corners as well. Coach Perry, he does a phenomenal job. He brings a lot of wisdom and intelligence to the game from being in the NFL, and obviously from playing and coaching under Coach Saban. He brings a really good dynamic to the room. So I lean a lot on him. He lean a lot on me, and it's a win-us kind of mentality, and that goes for the players as well.
Is that any different than in the past?
No, it's not. No.
I am curious. You've got a lot of new faces back there. You've got a couple of familiar faces at safety,
right?
But a lot of new faces. How difficult has it been? Because you got guys with a lot of experience, veteran guys. How difficult has it been to figure out who your guys are, first team, second team, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, good question. So for us, we see a unit, right? We see a collection of guys that's going to be able to contribute. Obviously you got to take the field with 11 guys for the first play, but the second play, it can be a whole different unit that goes out there. We got a lot of guys that's earning trust. Some have earned it, and some are still in the process of earning it, right? Because it's a lot of new guys on the back end. But this is probably the most depth position or group that I've ever been around. A lot of guys with experience, as you mentioned, a lot of guys that have played a lot of football, and, again, we trust, so it's going to be a no-name group. For us, it's a we-and-us mentality, as I just mentioned, not an I and me. And I've been really impressed with the selfless acts that the guys have been, possessing every day.
Coach, we saw Larry, I think, at the Hog today during fastball. Just how much of that is he still doing? Is he still bouncing around quite a bit?
We still trying to figure out the best, 11 and, playing into their strengths and the things that they need to improve at as well. Larry understands the big picture of the scheme. So he could be at hog one play, free safety the next, or at boundary safety the next, or at money when we go dime, So, again, he understands it. So, we can move him around a little bit just to get the best guys on the field.
I think Caleb Wooden did a little bit of that during the spring. Is he doing that at all, or is he mostly focusing on safety this fall?
He's doing some of it as well. His primary right now is free safety to the field. Caleb comes obviously from Auburn, and he's brought a lot of experience with him as well. He's a guy that's, continuing to grow into a leader, and I've been really impressed with his energy at practice, his consistency, and, his communication skills as well.
And the last one for me, Jordan Young. We didn't get to see him any in the spring. Just how has he looked, and how does he kind of take into that hog position?
I had to remind myself that Jordan hadn't played football since December, when we first started. And the progress he's made since practice one has been phenomenal. Every day he's getting better and better and better. He was here in the spring getting the mental aspect, but the physical piece he wasn't able to get. So I'm continuing to challenge him to increase his fatigue, right, his endurance, if you will. And but I've been really impressed with Jordan, and he gets better each and every day.
Travis was in here the other day and said Miguel was one of the highest FBI guys on the team. So I was wondering if you could talk about maybe his makeup that makes him that way, and what kept him from getting more action last year.
Yeah, well, we decided to redshirt Miguel last year. He did play in 4 games, including the bowl. But he's a coach on the field. He's someone that take a lot of pride into the mental aspect of it. And you see the time that he's putting into learning the scheme and just overall football. He does have a high IQ on the field. He has that about him, that it factor that you can't coach, and again, he's a coach on the field, and once he's done playing football, I told him, Lord willing, if I'm a head coach, he's going to be my defensive back coach. He's that type of player. And it's from a physical standpoint, he's elevated his game as well. He's improved his man coverage. He playing with good eye discipline, and that's obviously what you need on the back end. So I see Miguel putting himself in position to have a really big year.
The third year of you and Travis together, what's the value? Like, what do you see personally as the value that brings?
Well, just the more time you spend with somebody, the deeper the relationship get and the more you understand each other. Travis is like a brother from another mother, right? And the moment we met day one when we worked at another institution is like I had known him for 10 years. And he holds me accountable. I'm able to hold him accountable. And it's obviously healthy for the staff on defense and obviously for the players as well. So, man, it's a joy to show up and work with him every day.
Sam Pittman does something that's a little unique. All of the assistant coaches come through during camp and during the spring, and I think it affords you guys an opportunity to improve your public speaking, thinking on your feet. What do you think of being able to do that as an assistant coach?
Well, this is great experience, for me to be able to sit and, have this interview in front of you guys, that's professional development for me with the goals I have in front of me. Lord willing, I want to be a defensive coordinator like Coach T. Will and work to become a head coach as well. So as much exposure that we get a chance to get in front of you guys and answer questions and, again, it's professional development. So I appreciate Coach Pittman for allowing us as a staff to get this experience because all head coaches don't do that. So it shows that he trusts us as coaches. And, again, I'm grateful for the opportunity.
We heard from Sam and a few other coaches that a lack of communication led to chunk yardage in the scrimmage. What specifically do you want to see improve for Saturday?
Yeah, good question. Really is just improving communication. I mean, there's no such thing as over-communicating, right, to make sure everybody is on the same page. And there's no such thing as a wrong call as long as they're all playing the same call, right? So, for us, you gain trust through communication, right? And you cut guys free whenever you don't communicate. But I'm going to say this. Any lesson that you learn throughout camp, as long as you apply it throughout the course of the season, it was a valuable experience. So for us, we continue to work on our daily habits, being consistent with the way that we communicate within our daily routine is something that we got to continue to harp on, right? So when it comes to the secondary, again, the offense can't operate without a quarterback, and the defense can't operate without a secondary that communicates at a high level. So for us, that's the first way you eliminate explosive plays, and that's the first way that you create big plays for the defense is by communicating and being on the same page.
When you have such a versatile secondary, what's the coaching staff's evaluation process for maximizing talent at each position and everybody?
Yeah, well, you first got to learn the guys by putting them in position to do certain things and see what they do best and, the areas that they can improve in. If I cover man-to-man better than you, when we getting ready to go man-to-man, I need to be in, right? So, again, it's putting your players in position to be successful. That's what good coaches do. And what you want to do is continue to work on the areas of improvement so you can be versatile and be good at everything, right? But, for us, it's just about finding out who we are, what we do best, and going out and putting that product on the field.
You guys played against Caleb Wooden last year. Was there anything he did in that game that really stood out to you that made him a priority once he hit the transfer portal? Or what was that recruiting process like with him?
Yeah, good question. So it comes back to relationships. When Coach T. Will and I worked at Auburn, his brother played defensive end for us. And within that process, Caleb would be on campus quite a bit. And just over time, we recruited him there. Obviously, he signed with Auburn, and Coach T. Will stayed there for a year with him, and I ended up leaving, going to Florida State. But, man, it started there, and then it went back to his production at Auburn on video once we got a chance to go into the transfer portal. So it was a no-brainer for us. Man, he's exceeded the expectations that we had for him as a staff since he's been here, and he's been a phenomenal addition to the room.
And then J.J. Shelton has kind of made that transition from linebacker to safety. What have you seen out of him, and how has he progressed through fall camp so far?
Absolutely. With JJ, the future is bright for sure. You know, he's a kid that loves football. He come from a really, really good program in the state of Texas. He has all the tools to be a really good player. Obviously, he's young and still learning what we're doing. He played hog in the spring, and we got him playing boundary safety now. And it's a lot of carryover from those two positions. And I just been really impressed with what he's doing, and he will play a factor for this team this year.
The overall theme that every coach that has come in this room has talked about is depth. And especially when you have as much turnover as you guys did in the transfer portal, that says something. So what does it say about the kids that you were able to retain that didn't go in the portal and the job you guys did scouting to bring the new ones in?
Yeah, well, obviously it's a new day and age in college football now. Rosters are very fluid, and for many different reasons, guys enter and guys come and go. You know, so for us, we obviously going to take our time evaluating character first and foremost. They got to be the right fit as a person before they are as a player. But it starts with their film as a player. And as we go through the evaluation process, we look for selfless guys, right? Guys, obviously, that got the skill set to make us better at their position. And that's the thing with the back end right now is togetherness, being able to come together as one. Again, having that we and us mindset, not an I and me. That's hard to do in the day of transfer portal, right? It's a lot of guys that got I mentality instead of we and us. So we went out and got guys that believe in being selfless, and we have that. And I see them getting closer every day as they go out on the practice field and work together and create, you know, some camaraderie within the group. So we got leaders in the room. I'm so excited about this group, man, and I love seeing them come out every day to get better.
You know, overall, with it being so easy for kids to leave, especially if they're not playing right away, are you finding it now that kids want to compete less, or are they still as competitive as they were when you played?
No, it's they still competitive. You know, everybody, including myself, want to be held to a standard. They want to have structure, and they want to be held accountable. Those three things will never change regardless of the illusion that the transfer portal gives, right? So as long as a young man understand that you're getting them better to achieve their dreams and goals, I believe it's a less chance that they'll go into the transfer portal. You know, obviously the revenue sharing now and the decision you make in the investment of the player plays a factor. But at the end of the day, it got to be a long-term, right, type of mindset, not a short-term when it comes to not making a decision for the now, but for the future when it comes to being a player. So all of their goals are to make it to the NFL. And as long as you as a coach are producing that, I feel like you got a chance to retain your players and keep a good room.
And last one for me, you mentioned wanting to be a head coach, and so much has changed. You know, we've been mentioning so much has changed in college football, but with the portal, with the revenue sharing, and it also being a different job, you don't get to do as much one-on-one. You don't get to do as much coaching, you know, one-on-one instruction as a head coach. Why is it still so attractive to you or attractive to anyone that might be in your position?
I think it's all about how you structure your staff and your daily responsibilities. I don't think it's less coaching as a head coach. I think you could still coach as much as you did as a position coach, and you just got to prioritize, right, what's important now, right, and focus on that task at hand in front of you at that point. So, again, you got to be yourself. Obviously, you got to be able to delegate things to certain people and have people in place that you trust to get the job done. And as long as you do that, I still think you can coach as a head coach like you did as a position coach. That's why you see Coach Pittman coaching the offensive line with Coach Mateos every day. But I understand it's a bigger, a broader view from that seat. But I still think you could be involved with the daily coaching and the meetings and everything that goes with it.
Sam and T. Will have made it clear you guys want more takeaways. Are there characteristics that make a good takeaway type team, and what are they?
I just think it's what you emphasize as a coach. You know, you're going to get what you emphasize. And in terms of the back end, when we pursue the ball, we pursue it to go get the ball, not to necessarily to always make a tackle. So it's about the ball, it's about the ball, and it's about the ball. That's what the game is about. So when the ball is in the air, we want to go and get it. And then when, it's a run play, we want to go and force it out. So our desire to get the ball out has to be greater than the ball carrier wanting to secure it, right? And when the ball is in the air, we got to want to go and get it more than the receiver. And at the end of the day, if we can get the ball back to the offense, to Coach Petrino and the guys, we'll be an elite team. We were undefeated last year when we won the turnover margin, right? But when it was tied or we was -1, we didn't win a game. So the obvious is that we need to get takeaways and we need to protect the ball.
Nick was in here the other day and said the safeties have done a better job at that point of getting turnovers. Who I know you guys track it all. Who's doing the best job at getting turnovers?
It's a collection of them all. It's again, like, I believe in having a no-name type of secondary right now. It's about we and us. If Larry Worth get one, Miguel Mitchell got one, right? Like, so it's about the unit. It's not necessarily corners, safeties. It's the Hogs defense, right? So regardless of who get it, we got it, and the offense got the ball now.
When you look at the secondary, it's just big, a lot of big guys. What kind of led to that kind of shaping the room with a lot of size this year?
Well, you'd rather 6'2" than 5'8", right? Like, this is a grown man sport. This is a league that you got to have length, and this is a big man sport, right? It's a physical game, and we were able to go out and find guys that fit who we are, that has length to go with it. And, we are bigger, and as a coach, it feel a little better getting off the bus and taking the field when you look the way that we look than the alternative, right? The other way around. So I'm excited, man. It's still about production. Like, I don't want to look big and not play big, So for us, it's just about getting them coached up, man, and playing as big as they look. And right now we're headed in the right direction.
Is this the biggest secondary you've ever been part of?
It is, man. I've been fortunate to be around some big ones, but when it comes to top to bottom, this is the biggest one that I've been around. Now, the good thing is that they big and can run, right? It's still about speed as well because of the position that I coach. So they not just big, they big and can run. And we just got to continue to work on the things that we got to get better at every day, which what we talked about earlier, the communication. It's going to be three things, man, for us that we want to create as a routine. That's being disciplined, being consistent, and just having elite communication, and that's what develops trust.
When I look at your background, the year before you took over Florida State, they were one of the worst pass defenses in the country, steadily rising up those ranks all the way up to number 4 nationally.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like on that track at Arkansas.
Yes,
Here's
sir.
where the bad numbers come in, though, last year.
Yeah.
248.9 yards per game last. And there's 11 people out there. No, it's not all secondary. More plays of 40, 50, 60 yards given up. What about that? I mean, that had to stick in your craw, obviously. What about that has changed, in your opinion, to make those numbers a lot better this year? Obviously, a lot of new players.
Yeah, well, my first year here, which was 2023, we got off to a really good start in terms of, the pass game defense. And we were more of a deny ball team, which is man-to-man, right? And we did a good job with that. Last year, some trust in certain areas was lost, and we went to more of a zone and less man. And now we're getting back to who we were, which is a man-to-man team, deny the ball and using zone more as a changeup. And Coach T. Will is an aggressive play caller, which is who we are, right? And so with that, I like the personnel that we have. I like the trust factor that we have with the players and the coaches. So for us, it's just about getting back to the details and challenging guys early in the down and late in the down. And, again, making sure we do our part to buy the defensive line some time to get to the quarterback.
And you mentioned being the biggest, but, obviously things have changed the last few years, but is it also the most veteran group? I mean, there's a lot of seniors in that secondary.
Yeah, it is, man. It's a lot of experience. Guys coming from other places have played a lot of ball as well. So I would say, yes, it is the most experienced secondary as well.
Coach Shakur Smalls is a guy we didn't really get to see in the spring. He came over in the summer, but from what we've seen in the fastball, looks like he's kind of worked his way into the two deep a little bit there. What have you seen from him? What kind of ways can he impact the team this year?
Yeah, his consistency and his want to get better every day. He loved football. I'm so excited that we were able to get Shakur he came from Maine. He been a great addition to the room. Head is spinning a little bit because he just got here in June, and so he's still learning the playbook. But when he knows and he can get his cleats in the ground and play football, he go out and make plays. So the main thing for me as a coach is getting him caught up with the scheme of things so he can go out and play fast to the utmost ability that he has.
Yeah, just to follow up on what you said earlier, I mean, when you're with the secondary, do you also equally emphasize that a dropped interception is dropped by everybody?
Absolutely, no doubt. Yeah, that's been a disappointing thing. We've gotten our hands on numerous balls throughout the last few practices, and some we came away with, some we didn't. And based on my experience, when you drop one and you missed an opportunity, there to follow, it don't be good. So again, we got to capitalize on those opportunities. We got to come away with takeaways. I've been impressed with the way we've been able to get our hands on balls, but we can't have missed opportunities.
I want to ask you a little bit more on JJ because, I mean, Larry's kind of a unicorn moving all over, but usually at safety he's moving down to linebacker. And I think he was recruited as a linebacker, at least that's what he was listed at, and then you guys are working him at nickel and now at boundary safety. And I believe also he was one of the fastest guys on the defense in summer testing and stuff. Just I was wondering if you could expound a little bit on that and the decision to move him from linebacker and then to nickel and then now to safety.
Yeah. First, it started off just with his skill set. JJ, he's somewhat that tweener, if you will, not as big to be inside the box, but big enough to be a defensive back. And once we were able to get him here and actually see how well he moved and can run and pick up what we're doing from a schematic standpoint, we needed a little more help at hog. So we moved him outside, and that was a really good fit for him. And now he's at boundary safety. It fits the room and the personnel better by putting him at boundary safety. And he's going to be able to help this football team. But he has a unique skill set to where, similar to Larry, he can do a lot of things, So we think we found his home at boundary safety. But, again, you will see him play some hog at times as well.
And back to Larry, I know you said, like, it's everybody in the defense, but when you look at his measurables, he's all of 6'4", 226, 40.5-inch vertical, strong, fast. What is it? And maybe coming from Jacksonville State was a bit of a, spin his head a little bit going from that level to this, and y'all also worked him a lot of different positions. But now that he's kind of more settled in the defense, knows all the positions, all that ability, what is his ceiling?
I mean, the sky is the limit, right? He can be as good as he want to be. Larry is a Sunday player, right? He brings a lot of value. He shows up every day. He's Mr. Consistent. He brings a lot of value to special teams as well. More than his physical attributes, his desire to get better, and he got a coach mentality, and it blends into the rest of the room as well. Whenever he come in and sit up front, he bright-eyed, ready to take notes and get better. The J.J. Sheltons and the Todd Overtons of the world gonna follow that, right? So his leadership has really been good. Again, he still got a lot of things that he has to improve on the field with being consistent with his eye placement and things of that nature. But, I'm so excited to coach him, man, and I think he'll play a long time on Sundays for sure.
What I also noticed in the spring, starting in the spring, was I started hearing his voice at practice more. Was that something you guys talked to him about, or was that just something like he naturally took over?
Yeah, it's in his DNA, that, and in addition to us emphasizing it, he go out and communicate at a high level. It's more clean football when he's on the field and not, right? So I'm really impressed with the way that he communicates. Volume reflects confidence, and you hear him when he's on the field, right? So it's been really good. But again, he know what he's doing, and when you know what you're doing, you can communicate with confidence, and that's why you hear him with his volume on the field.
Coach, going back to Miguel Mitchell for a second, I don't know if we ever found out why, but like he didn't play the first half of the season, but whenever he was able to play, it seemed like he got in right immediately and even started a few games for you. I mean, what's it say about a guy that even though he's not able to play, he's still locked in and still able to contribute whenever he's able?
It says a lot, right? It's easy to lose the mental focus within, the day-to-day routine when you're not actually playing on Saturday. But he was always engaged, always helping out the younger guys. And because of his involvement at that point when he wasn't playing, he understands what we're doing just as well as myself, right? So he's able to go out and play fast. He got all the physical attributes you want as well with the mental to go with it. So his production so far this fall camp has been at a high level, and I just can't wait to see him take the field on August 30th. Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.